Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. Today is day 12 of upskilling myself, and today I solved 3 DSA problems as well as did some internship work and set up the backend project. We'll see it later on in this video, but let's see the DSA problems that I solved. So the first problem was pretty easy. It was design a hash map. We had to design a hash map without using any libraries. So what we did was, first of all, we used the concept of buckets, right? So we used the array of arrays to store buckets, and in the buckets we have those elements who have the same key. Okay, so we have implemented it over here. Then we have implemented this to insert in the hash map, then to get an element from the hash map, and then to remove the pair from the hash map. So you can go through it, it's very easy. The second question was set matrix zeros. So what you have to do was, if this is 0 over here, then you have to mark this whole column as well as this whole row as 0. So we have to set this to mark whether we have to mark the column as 0 or not, and this to check whether we have to mark the row as 0 or not. So it will be the boolean values like in zeros or 1 and this too. The thing we are taking this is because we don't want the rows and columns to overlap over here. So that is the thing. First of all, we initialize rows and columns and set the variable over here, and then we mark rows and columns that needed to be zeroed. So this is the function for it. And then we start from j is equals to 1 because we have to start from here, not here. And we have to avoid the overwriting this variable over here. And then we mark the rows and columns to be zeroed. And then we zero out all the cells except the first row over here and the first column over here. So we have to zero this, right? And then we have to zero out the first row. This first row we have to zero out if necessary, and then we have to zero out the first column if necessary. So the flow goes like, first we have to make these elements as 0 if necessary, then we have to make the row 0 and then the column. It was a pretty tricky question. Then the last question that I solved was 3sum, which was a medium level question. So to solve this question, we have to find 3 elements such that this sum would be equals to 0. So to solve this, first of all what to do is we sort the whole array, and then we initialize 3 pointers, I, k, and j would be just next to I. So what we have to do was, we have to calculate the sum of these. If the sum is greater than 0, then we have to decrement the k, as k is the highest value, and we have to decrement k to get a low value. If the sum is less than 0, then we have to increment j, and if the sum was equals to 0, then we have to store it into the vector temp, and then we have to push the temp into the answer, and then we have to increment j and k unless until we get unique j and unique k. So this was all about DSA. Then for the development part, I did some internship work. Then I set up the backend project as well as I set up Docker for it, and then I set up CI with GitHub Actions, and there were many bugs in it while setting the CI, and I resolved it. Then I did YouTube stuff, and then I did revision of all the DSA problems that I solved till now. So till now, in 12 days, I have solved around 39 DSA problems and 5 to 6 conceptual problems to understand some data structures. So yeah, that was it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you on day 13.